Alright everyone, I'm on Europe South, so I'm going to have some lag, but the nice thing is it's pretty empty at this time of night. So, I guess what I'm doing is just kind of a unrehearsed Godlands tutorial. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm not showing you anything revolutionary here, hopefully. I can find you some lone godlands, but I just want to encounter gods and talk about general strategies for just dealing with them. Like here, this Levi. He's going to be darting around in these diagonal, slant patterns where he's going to give some melee people some frustration, but what I like to do is get up and in those big, fans that are empty, not full of bullets, and then just kill them from there. If you're melee, if you're dagger, if you're ranged, either way, it's good to be not where he's shooting. So just get up in there and just shoot him down. And then if you're an archer, you can paralyze him if you want to waste the time to do that. But otherwise, paralysis is really only useful for... I like to stick to using it for, let's say, a construct when it comes to Godlands, and then when it comes to certain bosses, then yeah, paralysis is very cool. But for Godlands, paralysis usually just a waste of time. Events, if you run into events in Godlands, however, we'll see what we do with that. Now, and gods. These guys are great. They drop in def just like Levi's, so you want to kill them. They will do this thing where they're going to try to anticipate where you're going. So if you kind of time it up so every now and then he's going to be shooting towards where you're headed, and so you can throw off his shots. Now if there's obstacles, then you can just dodge around with the use of rocks or trees to help you too. Oh, that's another thing. If you're an archer and paralyzing things, if you paralyze them on top of a rock or a tree, then you can't really shoot them, but they can't shoot you. So that's just something. It can be fun. Now let's dig deeper in here. Oh, Urgles, not a god, but still it's good to kill him, because if you get armor broken out here in the Godlands, it can get kind of dangerous, right? Pardon my lax gameplay here. Anyhow, killing Urgles, usually a good thing to do. You might even prioritize them above gods, especially if you're near a skull shrine or a cube god. Okay, sprite gods. Sprite worlds, you can try to have them just keep kicking out those little baby sprites to try to get a sprite world. And if you're not piercing, they're going to eat up some bullets, but otherwise, I don't really care. When it comes to killing the sprite god, I like to go in and out, inside, outside on their shots, and just get close enough that you can hit them and then kill them. They're not too big of a deal. They don't do too much damage, but if you hit a full shotgun, it's going to do something considerable to you, so I wouldn't stand on top of them. Quiet is the big thing with them. They drop attack, which is cool. You need a lot of attack, especially for archers, wizards, classes with 75. Okay, here, the ghost god. These dudes can do a lot of damage to you. Those bolts, I think they do 74 to me at max def, which is 46 with the outfit I've got here with the Hydra. For them, it's all about just being patient and getting close enough while you're just kind of slipping between their shots. These things that are annoying me are the minions of freaking landlord. Slowing is the worst part about them. Okay, Jins. I wouldn't sit on top of them, but really these white bolts they shoot out are not going to hurt you much. And they have invulnerable phases, but they don't take much damage to kill. So, I don't know. they drop speed, which is cool. Same with the ghost gods. So again, if you're doing maxing like a rogue or trickster or something that needs a lot of speed, then hit those guys up. Here's another attack dropper. It's a white demon. They aren't too much of a problem to dodge from range. If you're melee, might have to get a little bit closer, but they nerfed them down to just 3 of these shots, and they do ignore armor, so it doesn't matter what your def is. These things will hit you for 45. Anyhow, don't sit on top of them. Probably don't want to run through a big swarm of them, but one-on-one they're not a problem. Beholders, Death Dropper. There's a blind coming out there, the purple shots. I find them to be pretty easy to dodge. They're like a slow-firing brain when it comes to how they shoot, and it's really not a problem. If there's a whole group of them, those white bolts do a considerable amount of damage, so you don't want to eat too many of them. Godlands sometimes is deciding what bullets to eat and what bullets not to eat. Well, here's those brains. They shoot at a higher rate, so sometimes people say they're snipers because they do end up hitting you. Ooh, Medusa, the big daddy. So brains drop attack. Brains, I'll move around them step by step like this, and they'll shoot and they'll miss you, and you'll just keep killing them. And you can ignore their bullets pretty much. It doesn't do that much damage. Medusas you have to watch out for. The biggest reason being that server side bomb they throw off the grenade. It's red, and you gotta be on your toes when it comes to Medusas. If they're stacked up next to, let's say they're stuck in the water of an Cyclops castle, and you don't see them, and 5 of them throw their grenades at once, and they snipe you. That can just ruin your day. Anyhow, I'm trying to think if there's any gods we haven't seen. Oh, slime god. I don't think we've seen one of those. Slime gods. They shoot off a lot of little bullets that do a fair bit of damage, and the slow they throw off in those green shots is really annoying. And they try to anticipate you as well, so you can kind of do the same sort of strafing to throw them off. Let's see if we can find one. Here's where Godlands gets fun, is when there's a few of them and you have to decide which bullets to eat, which bullets not to eat. And usually kiting is fairly safe, but you gotta watch out behind you. And if you're running away from something really fast, and you're worried about what's behind you, and you haven't been clearing too well maybe, then just switch to centered and check out behind yourself. I use uncentered and rotating because it's just more fun that way for me and more comfortable. Cornering's easier, and using range classes, it's generally better to use off-centered, especially if your ability depends on getting as much range out of that as possible, like an assassin or a wizard. Anyhow, we'll see if we can find the slime god, but it's really not too big of a deal dealing with it. It's just kind of a god you want to avoid the slow, and just... Oh, here he is. So yeah, just throw him off, and sometimes you end up eating some shots just because you didn't time it right, but if you time it right, you won't have to eat anything, and you can just get them. Now, Medusas and slime and some other gods that shoot right at where you are, you can just circle them really easily. If they anticipate where you're going, then it's not as simple as a straight circle. You might do an oblong thing, or you might do the back and forth. But if they shoot right at where you are, then you can just circle them. Anyhow, I think I've covered everything in terms of the standard gods you'll be trying to find for def, speed, and attack. And then maybe some other day I'll do... Don't back into slow-moving bullets. Maybe some other day I'll do something on other stuff like God Drop dungeons or whatever. But really the game's not too difficult, but learning enemy attack patterns and behavior is really helpful in getting better at the game and just being more comfortable farming the Godlands or wherever you're going. Anyhow, hope you found this informative, or at least fun to watch me derp around, and I'll talk to you guys later.